Okay, there we go. I think we are live, and we've got Shri in the background. She'll wave at me to let me know that she's actually can hear me, so I believe she can. It's Wednesday. You're here with Will, and I can't believe that it's another week in doing this. And I absolutely love sharing people who have inspired me. So before we get started, the reason I do this is each week I love to talk about a particular topic. This week's topic is showing up on camera the way that I've been doing, and so many of you have been doing. I really am super excited to have Shri join us because she's kind of just the video goddess to me. I had started, I'm a person who loves watching video and content, and Shree's just been someone who actually, in one of her broadcasts, she had said, just use the equipment you've got. Just go live. Don't be afraid. Open a window, use light, stack your PC or your camera up on some books and get going. So I listened to her and I've had so much fun, and I can't believe so many of you follow me. So now I'm going to bring Shree and she can explain all that she does. Hey, we did it.
Welcome.
You're finally here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Will, and thank you, viewers who are joining in right now. And thank you to those who are catching the replay up. I always say this in all my lives. All of you are the real ones.
I absolutely can't believe that you're here, and I'm going to just, as you're speaking, tell us all about how you got started. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, but I'll scroll through the stream here so we could say hello to some friends, and I promise they're paying attention.
Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's joining. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shri, and I started my journey on Instagram in 2019. I started a business because I knew I couldn't leave a legacy to my daughter. My ex, the father of my daughter, passed away. So I said, what's the best thing that I can do? Start a business. So when I started my business, people told me, hey, you need testimonies. And I was like, okay. And it was placed on my heart, hear their journey. And now I'm really worried, like, what? I don't have the equipment. I don't have a studio. What do I do this? Then the pandemic hits and I was like, okay, I have a business. I want to build visibility. How can I do it? Let's use video. Let's go live. And that's when I married the two ideas of interviewing entrepreneurs, giving them a spotlight, and then also bringing visibility to my business. And that's how I started going live on Instagram. So I saw my friend doing it. I asked 9 people. They said no. The 10th one said yes. Here we are 2 years later, about like close to 200 lives. And that's even in counting LinkedIn and Instagram. And now I go live on TikTok as well. Because when I started going live, I was like, I'm going to be broadcasting to all platforms. And here we are. So it was about my 100th live. Well, it was my 100th live, which is last year.
Wow.
I started working with my mentor who said, okay, if you don't have a passion for your first business, which was virtual assistant, she said, what do you like? And I said, well, I like interviewing entrepreneurs. She said, well, how many of them have never done video or a live stream? And I said, about 40. I coached them and they went live with me. And she said, well, that's what you should be doing. So I started pushing on LinkedIn. I had a 9 to 5. And then unfortunately in December, I was laid off, but I had my business. And I learned later, hey, they didn't like that I was showing up on lives and building this visibility on LinkedIn. But God had a better plan for me. So here I am. So yes, Florence first saw me on Instagram. That's how she met me. Actually, we go back to Rawless because I was on Rawless's show and then she followed me to Instagram. And she's an amazing soul I've even met her in person. And that's something that I loved because I was connecting with people who've been part of the journey. So think about this. If you are a solopreneur, a business professional who wants to build visibility, if you look back in 2020, I was getting heat for putting out so much video content. And now, guess what they're doing? They're pushing more video. Why? Because you're building that connection. Like, take for example, Will. He never really talked to me, only in DMs and only seeing me on live.
This
And
is our first date. This is a real
this is
first
our first date.
date.
And guess what? We're talking as if we met like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That's just how it is, because that's what video has helped to do. So if you're wondering, how can I bring more visibility to my business? How can I cut down the sales cycle? Use video. There's so much power. And Will, I want to ask you, because you were talking about use the equipment that you have. Let me give you a tour of my current.
Please do, please do.
So
That's what I love about you, because you're just so real, and you just
see,
say, "Go, go." Love it.
I have boxes. This is my ring light. There's a window here. We're in my daughter's room. So I'm in the corner. You would never know that there's so much going on in the background, or know that there's boxes, because this is what you see. And I want anybody who's watching this live, whether the replay or right now, that you can show up with what you have. I didn't even have what I have now. Like, I only had a phone, and I only had a hair tie and a globe and a jewelry box. And that's how I
Right, right.
started going live. So
The thing about this, right? We were talking about it earlier before we went live. Um, the pandemic changed the whole world of getting together, Zoom and virtual. I had no idea how to speak to someone other than FaceTime on my iPhone. And then you start to have all of these meetings, and you're trying to reopen New York City on Zoom calls. Then you grow comfortable being on camera, love the camera, and have long wanted to do what I'm doing here today, because I have a plan to maybe take over the world and do much more of this, right? So I think you have to put out in the universe what it is that you want. And I find people like you give all of us the confidence to just start, just go somewhere. And I absolutely love that you just showed your whole studio, because um, I am of the belief none of us, we want great content, we want engaging speakers, we want to learn something, we want to be entertained, and we want all of that. But I I don't think we all seek that overly slick, polished, like pancake makeup and just almost a fake world. We want real. We want to see what's really happening, and that's what drew me to you, because you're just so real in that sort of way. What are some of the things that you would tell? Like, you convinced me, right? I sat here in this very living room. I've been toying about this idea for a year. I watched you on one of your pop-ups, and it was just like, yeah, Shree's right. I should just do it. I don't have to wait for that new laptop, that new camera, that new, what are those things called? I don't have one yet. A Yeti? Like I'll feel like I won an Oscar. Yes, once I invest in one of those for the sound quality. So watching other coaches gives us all that that freedom to experiment. And so I just am so glad that you're here. Tell us what made you just start to do that. You were telling a story about a friend, like, she's doing this on Instagram. I could do it. So tell us what got you started.
thank you. Well, besides wanting visibility, like I mentioned, I would also say that it was visibility. Like, there's so many people out there, but what makes you different? So getting started seems a little bit hard. The first thing is, if you're struggling to get in front of the camera, I definitely have a masterclass, which is this Saturday, where I'll
I'll
give
be
you
there.
five best tips to show up on camera. But speaking from what you have value, because you have experience, you have lessons, you can get a microphone, you can get a $20 microphone from Amazon. I actually bought AirPods. That's what I invested in. So I bought that. But if you don't have $115, you can
Right,
get a $20
right.
lavalier. Just use that. It gives great sound. If you don't have a light, use a lamp.
Right.
We all have lamps in our house.
Yeah.
And then as far as what's going on, Aaron? As far as a microphone like this, I will tell you a secret. I got on their mailing list and I was stalking them until they had a sale. So then that's when I bought it. So I did not pay the regular price. So if you're like me and you want a really good deal, you get on somebody's email list and then they give you all of the insight of like how to use the mic, then bet when they have a sale and when they have the sale, I bought it because I think I bought it. It was like $99 or $90. So I'm just telling you that if you have it in your mind that this is what you want to do, you're going to take the next steps. So, same thing with video. You're showing your journey. So, when I started on Instagram, yeah, I saw Jay Shetty, Ed Emlet. This was back in the start of the pandemic, March 2020. And I was like, I'm not them. Then I see my friend and I'm like, I know that girl. And so just said, well, she's doing it. And yes, some of you may be like, I don't have enough following. I only had 97. And I got people to go live with me
Right.
because it wasn't about the number of followers. If
Right.
they were worried about that, I wouldn't care. It
Right.
was about the value. It's about being able to share your message, your story. So think about the guest. If you're thinking of doing a live show, don't worry about your audience number. Focus on what is the value that anybody who's going to come onto your live. If you are talking about like Will has an amazing show and his is about how to be aspiring better human, he's going to bring certain kinds of guests. How do they fit? It's not how do they fit, it's like how can I make their story come out in such that way that it fits your storyline. Then there's the other option of bringing on a potential guest, and even if you're doing as many retakes, it's okay. I always say if it takes more than 3, I post what I have. I
Good
promise
for
you.
you. Yeah. Right. Because you'll
I
make yourself crazy otherwise.
Yes. Some of my videos, the videos that I was like after the 3rd retake, I just posted it, are usually the videos that do the best, FYI.
So talk about the power of video, right? I've only been dabbling in LinkedIn for the last year, right? For me, LinkedIn, and I'm trying, you see this streaming banner above me. I'm trying to experiment with YouTube and Facebook. But for me, it's not about necessarily how many people are tuning in. I'm loving that anyone tunes in. And if you can help someone, if I can help someone, fantastic, right? It's just the one person. Everything that I read lately, because I've been doing this for a year, the video is so important, right? Our attention spans are smaller and smaller and smaller, but I also believe that we want to engage with other human beings. I don't know, what's your take? Why is video so much more important today than it was in the old days a year ago?
Well, one thing is that if there is a statistic that 95% of what we consume, we retain from video. And yes, our attention span is getting to the point where we will scroll through past. But you have to think about this. Don't worry about the person who's passing you by. Worry about the person that's stopping to consume your content. So you are introducing yourself. If you're on TikTok, this is a great lesson that I learned these past few weeks. You are introducing yourself to somebody new every day.
Sure.
And so what can I do to get this person to be like, come into my world? You will be welcomed. You will be showered with love. And I will provide you with the best tips to help you excel in life. Now, sometimes that's not the message they want to hear. That's just not what they want.
Right.
But there is somebody out there who's dying and looking for you. And if you're not doing them the justice by putting that message out, then they'll never know.
Right.
Yes, there's a strategy. Yes, there's tips. I go into it in my 6-week group coaching program. But I also want to just say that if you're thinking that I don't have a story, I don't have value, I was there before. And now here we are today with Will. If I didn't take that step 2 years ago, I wouldn't be here with you. I wouldn't have met
Right.
Will, and I wouldn't see Joan's comment right here by saying making fun videos. The challenge is finding the time to plan what I'm doing, rehearsing them, making my videos. I say this: if you look at your calendar for the month, look at where do you have time to create, where do you have a pocket of time of like maybe 2 hours or 3 hours or 1 hour,
Right.
and schedule that. That's a non-negotiable time.
Right. And
And
you're just in that zone.
where you're in that zone. And so prior to that, do research, just have fun. You're always on your phone, you're always looking at content like, okay, I can use that. I like that idea. Oh, I like this idea from Pinterest. Oh, this experience, how can I take it into my life? Then you have a bank, whether it's you put it on a Google Doc, if you text it to yourself, if you have a
Yeah.
note. Now you
Whatever organizes your brain.
Yes, and now you have all these ideas. So then when you have your scheduled time, you go and do those videos. Because now you don't have to think about what do I do during that time. You already have
You
it.
have it. And you're
And a
Julie has a question.
battery operated lighting, I would say there's Lumen, there's, I mean, it depends on your price point too. So I would suggest to go on Amazon and based on their reviews, because I don't suggest one or the other. The one I have on this side was from Target, and the other big ring light was given to me. And yes, this, if you're talking about this, there's going to be a replay for the masterclass. There is no replay, so
That's right.
you got to
That's right.
be there live. So make sure you bring your questions and just enjoy yourself.
So I'm going to ask the group here to pop any questions in the chat, in the comments, but tell us, because I heard that you're doing this masterclass. So obviously I had to follow the link and I'll be there this Saturday. So this is a plug for Shri, and anybody who wants to up their game, I would assume wants to go to your masterclass on Saturday. So tell us about it.
I only talked about it so many times. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but there's always a new person. There's probably somebody here who hasn't heard it.
Yes. So this masterclass is for the solopreneur, the business professional who understands that getting in front of the camera is important, but they are struggling. So the 5 best tips that I'm going to share during that masterclass is going to help elevate you. Now, to give you a little bit of a background, the masterclass was my idea. But as far as the topic, I actually asked the community. I asked all of you on LinkedIn, and I even asked on Instagram. So that tells you I actually did a little bit of homework before I put this together. It's not my idea. The only idea I had is I just wanted to do a masterclass. I wanted to put out some value that would be beneficial for you, your business, or if you're working a 9 to 5 and elevating yourself so that you get that visibility to be able to get that promotion or opportunity to get to work on different projects. Or if you are a solopreneur, small business owner, how can you get in front of your target client? Because guess what? There's all of us, there's all this noise. But it's not about the views. It's really about connecting with that one person. I always educate this. I do not teach you on how to go viral. I teach you how to connect, start that conversation, because viral to me is somebody, you may have gotten 3 views, one person got in your DMs, and now they're working with you because likes, comments, and views do not pay your bills. Dollar bills do. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Exactly. Tell me, because you're big on other platforms, right? You're just not here on LinkedIn solely. LinkedIn is what I know. And you were on yesterday with Jordan Mendoza, and you really talked about crafting your content for each individual one. I believe in how do you say, original content, right? Which you do. I don't mean to discourage others who repost, because I repost tons of quotes, right? I love to do that because they inspire me and I hope they inspire someone else. But there's so much of that TikTok-y stuff, if that's an actual term, that I find so much of that is in search of numbers. And while it's very flattering to get so many people to view and to like and to comment, which is great, and I love it as much as anyone else, but some of that just seems like people are just looking for the big numbers for the big numbers' sake. And so what's your take on that in terms of
So,
original versus reposting?
so I would say you can take the quote and make it your own video. Now you've made a video with the quote that you love, whether you're walking in the park and then just saying, having the words in front of you, or hello, Anthony, or you are taking the quote and you're reciting it. Because, yes, TikTok is a video based platform. So, yes, you have only options of likes, comments, and views. However, you could still get business off of TikTok. You can still get leads off of
Right,
TikTok. And right now, the way that I'm creating my content is I do create it for the platform. But when I take it off, I do have to remember where is it going. So if it's coming onto LinkedIn, I might have to alter it just a little bit.
right.
Then if I'm going to Instagram, I reworded, meaning the caption to gravitate. But because I'm just at that level where I'm not trying to recreate too much, I do also believe like if you do one piece of content somewhere, how can it be used in different ways? So let's say you have a video on TikTok. Maybe you can take the wording and create a static post on LinkedIn. Then you can take that same video, put it on Instagram, change the wording and the caption. That's it.
So it's not starting from scratch each and every time. I'm
No,
starting to see some questions pop up. This one is from David, who gets tongue-tied when he's talking to himself, right? It's easier to speak to you here than just speaking to the screen. Yeah, I think he's looking for some tips.
I still get tongue tied to this day. And I will say that no matter how many videos, how many lives, I still get tongue tied. But keep in mind, what are you using? Are you writing a script? Are you writing bullet points? You can use a teleprompter app, or you can have it where, I mean, I used to just have the post-it notes. Like I use a specific area and I have post-it
So you
notes.
know to look
I
there.
know what to
Well,
say. Hey Rob, so that and also remember this, you don't have to do the whole video in one take. You can do 1 point per each take, and then there are different apps out there that I do go over in my group coaching program,
and I'm sure you'll touch on it in the masterclass.
but what I'm trying to say is you don't have to do everything in one take. Do not put that pressure on yourself. You can do, if you were to look at all my takes, you will notice that I have like 5 different takes and I'm looking everywhere because I'm trying to get my mind right. I'm trying to get ready for the camera. And then when I'm right when that golden moment happens, I just talk. And then I end it and I go to the next. And for some of you, it might be like, how long does this take, Shri? Well, it only takes me less than an hour, which some of you are like, what? But I actually edit and I put those funky captions where the words light up as you talk. I do all of that.
Wow, that's
So
great.
technically it's like 30 minutes or less, but I can do multiple videos. You don't have to be like that. You can use other apps where you do 10 videos, they add the captions for you, and then you just put it out.
You will probably have created a monster by the end of Saturday's masterclass because I am taking notes and I'm going to use every app that you use. Now, Anthony has a comment here about video blogging. It's exploding. So,
Everybody wants to know your business. Everybody wants to know what you're doing, what you're seeing, where are you
here's my
going?
breakfast.
What are you eating? Are you yelling at your kids? Are you throwing a shoe at your kids? Are you really who you are? Like, I mean, is that really your dog or did you borrow the dog from next door? Like everybody wants to see everything that you are doing. And so I don't do a lot of vlogs. I do take a lot of video. So something that I would share with everybody. Anywhere you go, just take video. Somewhere, somehow, it will come together. There's a video that I posted here on LinkedIn. It's my daughter and I, we were at the park. I really wanted to create content, and I was just like, I don't know. And I just started swinging, and she was recording me. I took video of her. She was being silly on the video. I wasn't sure how they would go together. And then one day I was sat and I was like, wait a minute. And I created this quick little funny video that has done really well for me.
That's
So
great.
sometimes then there's just the smallest thing. Maybe you have a pet and your pet's like running crazy and you're like, do you feel like this when it comes to a launch of a product? How many people would when we
Right.
all can relate to that running around in circles chasing our tail?
It's the realness, right? And it's those moments, and we're all photographers and we're all movie makers, right? Because we all have devices in our hands, and I do that often. So I have a ridiculous number of photos on my phone or video on my phone. Not sure if I'll ever use them, but there is something about having that to repurpose. You have a look on your face. Okay, you're going to show us something fun.
I'm recording because all of this stuff is the behind the scenes that nobody sees goes on,
That's
right? So
great.
think about this. If you are starting your business, or if you're starting your YouTube page, or if you are you're coming out with a newsletter, people don't know what you go through.
Right.
People don't know that you're banging your head against the wall. People don't know, like, I had a lot of people tell me no. I had a lot of people tell me I sucked. I had a lot of people tell me I wasn't professional enough. So those are
And look at
moments.
it now, right?
That look at me now. I mean, I'm just saying, like, what you see today is a product of not giving up, not allowing those circumstances to get the best of me, not allowing the layoff to get the best of me.
Right.
So just showing the journey behind how we get here, and in hopes that you watch the video, that you know that you can do it too.
Right.
I don't ever want anybody to say, well, I can't do it because I don't know. We're going to stop that today, and we're going to say, I have value, I have a story, and I can show up. If you don't like the way you look, hey, I have psoriasis. Today we took care of the grays. I have psoriasis, so I do my makeup. That's what makes me feel better. If you don't like the way you look, wear something that you love to wear. Like today, I'm wearing a colorful shirt because I'm going to go on TikTok live after this, where I'm super nervous. It's a new platform, and I had already one person tell me that I was old enough to be their mom, but that's okay. That's okay.
That's fine. There's room for everyone, right? It's
Very
all
much. So
perspective.
I hope that in return that all of this will encourage just one person to start putting out video. And if that's you, please tag Will and I so that we can come and show support
Absolutely.
to you.
So we only have a couple of minutes left, and in the chat, so whether you're watching this live or watching the replay, I will make sure in the comments, I will put the link. I think it was in the original link, but I want everybody to be able to see Saturday, June 25th. We're not July yet. June 25th.
June 25th.
And what was the time again?
So it will be 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Great.
It's 1 hour of your time, no replays. You can bring questions because I love to answer questions. And you never know. I agree, Michelle. You never know what that one person is looking for you and what you have to share. I've had so many. True story. Will keeps saying he was one of them. I've also had in my inbox, I would get a lot of, man, I really needed to hear the story of that entrepreneur because that's the exact words I needed to hear. Or, wow, I didn't know that 95% of what we retain is on video. Just facts like that. Think about your industry. What are things that you share? Think about your experience.
Right.
What have you been going through that somebody else could relate to?
And that's just the power of doing it, right? We can write and we can share, but there is nothing like being able to tell your story in person. And I just created this because it's kind of like I've invited you into my home, which you've come into my home. And instead of just tagging or in the noise of social media to always just tag people or you need to follow, I think the power of doing videos like this, they live on, right? Someone could be watching this a week from now and think, yeah, okay, I'm going to go check out Shree's content and I'm going to go follow her on TikTok. I'm going to see what she's talking about on Instagram. And I think that's just powerful. And so we've come to the end of our half an hour. I want to thank you so very much for joining me today and helping me experiment and giving me that courage, that encouragement to just go ahead and do this. And I really, really, truly hope there are folks that are watching today that will have the courage to just show up and do what they need to do and experiment. Try
Yes.
one thing,
Have
right?
fun. You don't know what will. When I started 3 years ago, I didn't know that I would be here in front of you talking about how to get in front of the camera.
Right.
So that should tell you it was not, it was just by the grace of God and opening all these doors. I didn't know I was going to become a published author and, a bestseller, not only here, but internationally. I didn't know that I was going to have 4 shows. I didn't even know that today, confidently, I'm telling you that I'm having a masterclass. So that
That was, I was just going to say, 3 years ago, would you have said, I will be offering a masterclass, right? I'm sure it wasn't anywhere in your brain. And now you will be doing much more. And
yeah,
think of how many, and Michelle said it earlier, a bunch of people have said it. You have absolutely, unleashed something within me, right? Which then unleashes in someone else. And there's room for everyone. It isn't as though it's like a finite number of people. So again, I say thank you. We don't want you to be late for your next engagement. And truly, 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 if you're watching the replay, let us know. Reach out to Sri and sign up for that masterclass. I hope to see everybody there.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Bye. Have a good week.